And on a Sunsplash Saturday morning, we welcome you to the Metroplex here in Dallas, where SMU gets set to host the Louisville Cardinals, a pair of 7-win teams going toe-to-toe at this late hour, Week 13. The standings in the ACC tell the entire story. The Mustangs still in contention to reach the ACC championship game in Charlotte. With a win today, those percentage chances increase all the way to 67%. Mustangs need to run the table and need just a little bit of help down the stretch to have a chance to win the ACC. ESPN College Football is presented by Tums for this early kick in Dallas. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis joins us in just 1 minute. So glad you could join us. And SMU right now, with all of its postseason possibilities still in front of it.
They're playing their best football to date. Offensively, they're playing well, but the defense has improved so much more from the beginning of the season. They lead the nation in takeaways, so it's offense, defense, and special teams that's helping this push.
Well, the quarterback, Kevin Jennings, leads that offense. The stats for KJ this year only tell part of the story with what he does for this team.
He's a winner. He loves to move around in the pocket. He's not the biggest guy, 6 feet, 192, but he has an electric arm. You'll
Louisville has won the toss.
Also expect him using his legs as well to create longer plays.
Now, Louisville's got plenty of star power as well, especially at wide receiver. Some injuries at running back. Colin Lacey, Chris Bell can get it done.
Number 0, Chris Bell, is going to be one of the top receivers drafted in this next year's draft. He's 6'2", 220. He's a beast. I was on the field before the game. He looks the part. But Colin Lacey, different size. He's smaller, about 5'11", but he's that slot receiver that can get the ball in a myriad of ways. And so that's going to be the key for this Louisville offense.
And the question is, who will be throwing the football to those two wideouts? Our sideline report presented by LinkedIn with Taylor Davis. She's got the answer.
Well, Roy, for the first time this season, it will not be Miller Moss. He's dealing with an injury he sustained this week, but we will be seeing the first collegiate start for redshirt freshman Deuce Adams. I was watching both of them pregame. Both guys got warm-ups. Deuce taking reps with the ones, but I am told Miller Moss is available to play if needed. Head coach Jeff Brom told me we've got to get Deuce Adams in a rhythm early against an SMU defense that leads the country in takeaways. But Roy, he raves about his athleticism and his poise. A lot of excitement for the Texas native in his first start.
Yeah, the Texas native returning home. He's from Austin, now playing in Dallas for career start number 1. As Louisville won the toss, SMU will receive after the Cardinals deferred. A beautiful morning here in the Metroplex, and a game that means everything in the ACC standings. And 10 yards deep in the end zone for the touchback. As today's impact players are brought to you by Mattress Firm. Sam, who do we like?
The alpha receiver, Jordan Hudson. He's a guy you have to pay attention to. Number 2, but he's gotten better. 300-yard receiving games in the last 4 games. And then your Mir Knight, he's more of a slot receiver, punt returner. On the defensive side of the ball, number 50, Clev Lumen, is an animal, and I mean that in the nicest way I could possibly say. He's all over the field. And then Renee Conga, interior defensive lineman. They have to create pressure on this quarterback.
Now the Mustangs, after a 2-2 start, have won 5 of 6 to put themselves in contention for not only an ACC championship game appearance, but the college football playoff. First down play action, Kevin Jennings extends it and dumps it off to Derek McFall, and the running back racing to the 30 for a gain of 5.
One thing to keep an eye out for this offense is the tempo. They want to go fast and attack all parts of the field.
Jennings on the screen to the 30. Now the 32 is Jordan Hudson. And quickly it's third down. The tempo, Casey Woods told us, offensive coordinator for SMU, they want to go as fast as they've ever gone in the first 3 series today. And movement up front, this ACC officiating crew led by Jerry Agalanis.
Full start, offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
Savion Byrd. And instead of third down and short, we'll back him up 5. 3rd and 7. Rhett Lashley, the head ball coach at SMU, recently signed a new extension. His name was being circulated about several vacancies in the Power 4. Dallas is his home. His son is the starting quarterback, the local high school team. And he is in it to win it for the foreseeable future. On third down, Jennings retreats. Now escapes and delivers. That's a strike to the 45. Pass is caught by the senior tight end, Matthew Hibner.
And this is when they really want to speed it up. So you saw that great job by Jennings, but they want to go fast on first down. They get that first down, they want to extremely go speedy.
Well, Sam, I thought for a second maybe he was beyond the line of scrimmage. He was approaching it.
The ruling on the field of a completed catch is under further review.
And Hibner had the tap dance along that far sideline. A gain of 17 on 3rd and 7. Our replay official today, Jess Peterson, and decisions are made on site in collaboration. Game day operations in Charlotte.
The biggest thing about Kevin Jennings specifically is he's elusive as a runner, but he wants to pass the football. You saw him, he could have ran it, but instead he tries to pass it. The ball's at the 28-yard line, so that's where he has to make sure his whole body, or part of his body, is still behind, and it looks like it is.
And the other question was Hibner inbounds.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld.
And a quick review, which we always appreciate.
Quick review, but I love the decision by Kevin Jennings. The pump fake that you saw on that play, that held the defender on the inside and deciding not to run it, but get it to the transfer from Michigan, Matthew Hibner.
You've got Matt Hibner, the senior, R.J. Maryland, also a senior. Two incredibly talented tight ends. And that review will stop SMU's tempo for a moment. Handoff Chris Johnson Jr., so he's back in the mix. And Sam, if you think about it, SMU's bye week came at an opportune time as they get a host of players back on defense and Chris Johnson as a running back.
They were battling injuries, 6 straight ACC games, and finally they got that bye week to get back healthy. The defense has been fine, at least their play, but the offense, they were battling some injuries. Now you're seeing guys like Chris Johnson get back to make this offense even more explosive.
On the toss, Johnson again with a crease towards the line to gain, and that should be enough to move the chains. It is.
It's interesting, Roy. We talked with the coaching staff yesterday. They said that they want to attack every part of the field, and we've seen that so far. We've seen some inside runs. We've seen some outside tosses. We've seen a potential down the field shot that ended up being a check down, and we saw a sideline pass. That threatens defenses because everyone on the defense has to defend.
And breaking news, we also just saw a huddle right there for the SMU offense. Play action. Jennings nearly fell down. Heaves one long. And broken up. Here comes a flag from the end zone. Jabari Mack trying to cover Romello Brinson. And an infraction coming against the Cards secondary.
Pass interference, defense, number 4. 15-yard penalty, automatic first down.
This play would have been a touchdown, but Kevin Jennings actually slips halfway through his play action. So play action pass, and he has Romello Brinson wide open, but that little slip causes him to delay the pass, and that's what makes it incomplete. Still got the 15 yards, but I'm sure they would have loved 6 points.
Well, it's been that kind of heartbreak for Louisville last couple of weeks. 3 losses by a combined 7 points, 2 coming in overtime. 1 last week at home against Clemson on a Friday night. Tunnel screen, Jordan Hudson, and corralled quickly. He's going to lose a half yard. Holloway made the tackle. Louisville's been so close this year, Sam, but so far away at 7-3. They could have had a much better season.
And sometimes losses like that, it feels like they just come in bunches. Man, what else could I have done? You saw the missed field goals, the mixed extra point last week versus Clemson, the loss before in overtime. I mean, it's been a struggle for this team, the Louisville team, to find a rhythm. Yes, they've battled injuries, but man, that confidence, the psychology of finding ways to win is what can be difficult when you lose like you did.
And losing against some pretty good teams. That Cal game coming in overtime, also an OT against Virginia. And outstanding coverage. Mack on Brinson, and now a flag comes in late. So too handsy again in that Louisville secondary.
Pass interference, defense, number 4. Automatic first down.
That's his second PI on this drive.
And it makes it challenging as a defender because the first PI was you got beat deep. Now you don't want to get beat deep, so you're going to play a little bit tighter. But as you're playing tighter, you have to be patient in your coverage. You cannot wrap your hands around the hip or the arm of a receiver. So Jabari Mack's a little bit on his heels a little bit, needs to calm down and settle in to slow down Romello Brinson.
And so just 6 yards on the penalty, a spot foul there, but it erases second down at 11. Off the left side, there goes Harden. T.J. Harden. It'll be first down and goal for SMU.
And SMU's going fast once again. They don't let you breathe as a defense. You give up a big gain, they're back on you.
Gain of 23. Harden again. He'll try the left side again. Pushing, churning, and not this time. Boy, SMU goes so fast. The tempo so quick. You got to be ready. That's been a big topic of conversation for Louisville on defense this past week in practice. Ron English calling plays.
And one response to that tempo is just to call a play. Just give me a base call, coach. Give me a call. I'll adjust. You don't have to have the perfect call to an offense. Just give me anything so I can get my feet settled and play what I see in front of me.
Extra offensive lineman checks in, and Nate Anderson. Jumbo set. Ninth play of the drive. He'll fake it to Harden. Jennings will try to get to the edge. And he does for the touchdown.
Holding crowd like I got to see on my chest.
21.
This is essentially a one-on-one. Wesley Bailey, defensive end, could have got the tackle, but this is almost like a naked play. They're not blocking the end man on the line of scrimmage. That man is left for the quarterback, and Kevin Jennings, the captain, out-athletes the defense.
And he is supremely athletic. A humble emerging superstar in the ACC is Kevin Jennings. Perfect start for the junior signal caller. 4 for 4 for 24 yards and the touchdown. That opening salvo by this SMU offense.
They attack you in different ways. They spread the ball out on the wide side. They run it right up the middle. They keep it in the quarterback's hands. No matter how you want to get beat, SMU will find a way to attack you with the offensive side of the ball.
Now the emotions of senior day, we were able to check in with Ahmad Moses, Isaiah Smith yesterday in our one-on-one conversations, but across the board, these are the student athletes here in University Park, Texas, that have helped lead the comeback for SMU all the way back from the death penalty in the 1980s to an ACC championship game appearance 1 year ago, trying to get back in 2025. Meanwhile, for Louisville, the debut for the Texas native in his first career start, Deuce Adams will call the shots today for head coach Jeff Brom on offense.
Deuce Adams has gotten a few snaps this year, 18 to be precise. Only thrown 4 passes. He's ran the ball 5 times, so he has that dual threat ability, but I can't wait to watch what shows up on tape today.
Miller Moss, only an emergency quarterback today. Freak injury during the week. Cards are without Isaiah Brown and Kewan Brown in the backfield, which means a hefty dose of Duke Watson. That's going to be a gain of 4. Taylor, what did it look like on the sidelines with Deuce Adams getting ready for this drive?
He was very intentional, throwing a good bit with backup quarterback Brady Allen. He sat at the edge of the bench, took a few minutes to himself before high-fiving Chris Bell, a guy you know they want to get involved. He also had a couple moments with Jeff Brom. I was able to listen in. Coach Brom reiterating, 1 play at a time. Take deep breaths, 1 play at a time.
Lacey picks up 4. Braxton Jennings checks in as the running back. They'll show an option look. Jennings going to rumble his way for a first down. Well, we do expect to see more athleticism at quarterback today. Some inside zone and some plays like that.
And also some different play calling. When you have a different style of quarterback, you can change your offense and tailor it to that person. Miller Moss is more of a drop back quarterback. Deuce Adams is not. He has an ability to move in the pocket, so expect more things on the side of the field and to the flats early in this game.
Braxton Jennings, a freshman out of Ashland, Kentucky. Blazer High School in at running back again. Chris Bell escapes the first defender and the second. That's going to be enough for a first down into SMU territory. Well, that's one of the reasons Mel Kiper and NFL scouts love numeral 0, the elusive ability that he has after the catch.
It's also the strength. You see elusive, but he's 6'2", 220. He's also strong. He makes people miss. He has yards after contact. You're not going to bring him down with arm tackles. That's what shows up on tape, but that also translates to the next level.
And the numbers certainly resonate, as you saw one of the top receivers in the ACC. Quarterback run. Deuce Adams is off and running. And Adams on the draw. He chopped down by Kilgore. Quality pickup on first down to the 41, a gain of 7.
I was talking to some of the defensive staff on the field before the game from SMU, and they heard that it might not be Miller Moss, and they didn't know what to expect. They said, man, both these guys, Brady Allen and Deuce Adams, there's not a lot of tape, and so that's why you see some of the offensive plays working for Louisville.
Deuce Adams recruited to Purdue by this staff at Louisville before they got the job in Derby City. Saw him throw, loved everything that they saw when he was a sophomore in high school. Jumped on board early. That paid off with a commitment. And they joined, the Adams family did, Jeff Brom and company at Louisville after they made the transition from West Lafayette. That's enough for another first down for the Cards.
Jeff Brom is one of the best play callers in college football. So as a quarterback, this is usually a place in a system where you want to be a coach who played the position, who understands offense, is going to put you into the best position to have success.
Adams with the bloodlines too. His father, All-American at Texas. Play action, Adams retreating. Off the pump fake. Buys some time. And the pass is low. It's caught right at the line of scrimmage. And Braxton Jennings makes his second catch of the season. We mentioned no Isaac Brown, no Kewan Brown. Brown squared, if you will, and their production sorely missed.
They've been huge parts of this offense, and this changes the complexity and the complexion of the game. As a defense, now you're not prepping for the run game as much. As an offense, you have to find different people to be able to get those touches. So expect guys like Colin Lacey to get more screen passes to replace the run.
On 2nd and 10, second possession of this game. SMU with an early touchdown and advantage. Chris Bell leaps to make the grab. It'll be 3rd down from the 35. Marcellus Barnes Jr., one of those healthy cornerbacks now back in the fold for SMU with the stop.
Love the comment we heard from Taylor Davis earlier of Deuce Adams went to who? He went to Chris Bell, his receiver, before the game. You have to have that relationship in critical downs and distances like these.
Adams finally got the play call. Two tight end set. And the play clock winding down.
Timeout. Louisville, their first timeout of the half. Full media timeout.
3rd down and 5 coming up when we return here to University Park. You're watching the ACC on ESPN, the Conference of Chaos. What are the chances this year? It's so random at the very top of the league of who wants to seize control. There are scenarios where we could have a 5-way tie at 6-2 at the end of the year. You look at the cleanest scenario, SMU and Virginia, if they both run the table, Georgia Tech loses, Pittsburgh falls to Miami next week. That would mean the Mustangs and the Cavs reach Charlotte easily. It's not a 5-way tie at the top. It's a potential 6-way tie at 6-2. The chaotic scenario in the ACC, absolutely off the charts, but it feels random. It feels chaotic. It feels like the wheel of destiny will determine who wins the ACC championship. Out of the timeout, called by the Cards. 3rd down and 5. QB run. Deuce Adams didn't need much. He'll pick up the first down easily. Mobility, the athleticism, the speed there on his first drive as a starting quarterback. He picks up 11 on 3rd and 5.
I love the play calling by this Louisville staff, by Jeff Brom and the staff. This is not what we've seen on tape so far this season. It's been so much more drop back pass, QB under center. Now we're seeing a lot of shotgun, a lot of empty quarterback design run. SMU does not know how to respond just yet.
Duke Watson on the field at running back. Adams so far 18 passing and rushing yards. As a defender, how long does it take you to adjust to a new quarterback where you haven't seen a ton of film on?
Usually it's the first series. You got to get through that first series just to see who is this guy. I've seen a little bit on tape. I've seen the 5 runs, the 4 passes, but who is he as a human being when the lights are on? So I think after this first series, SMU will be able to adjust, but it's been a great job by Louisville so far, keeping SMU on their heels.
After Bell picked up 3, 10th play of the drive coming up for the Cardinals. On the toss. And to the edge goes Colin Lacey. So Lacey we will see as a wide receiver, also as a running back. Kewan Brown and Isaac Brown both out of the mix today.
And it's not just going to be Chris Bell for this Louisville offense. It's got to be Colin Lacey, and even somehow the run game. Even if it's not Duke Watson, it might just be QB run.
On 3rd down and 6, Adams, and that throw high, looking for Chris Bell, nearly picked off by Barnes, and a field goal attempt now coming for Louisville.
And that's why you say the first series, because now you get a feel for what this guy can do as a runner, but also as a passer. That could be nerves as a quarterback, or it could just be inaccuracy. SMU, when this game goes on, they want to keep the pressure on. Louisville has to keep it out of third and obvious situations to make it not so easy for the defense.
Now, Cooper Ranvier just 1 week ago missed an extra point, missed a long field goal in the 4th quarter that could have won it for the Cardinals against Clemson. This attempt from 36 yards. He's had a good year before what occurred last weekend, and a good start today from the right hash. Louisville on the board. Ranvier makes it 7-3.
ACC championship game. To the end zone! Touchdown!
You know, it was SMU 1 year ago that reached the ACC championship game, year 1 in the conference. Ran the table in the regular season, fell on a buzzer-beating field goal from 56 yards out against Clemson. Sam, I feel like that game and that loss still haunts this program. They have a strong desire to get back.
We talked to a lot of the players on the team yesterday, and they said that was the worst loss they can remember. They said that's worse than getting blown out, having a game they feel like they had won and then losing at the last moment.
Let's get you back to the studio and Kevin Connors.
Roy, it's time for your Fresh Take presented by Subway. James Franklin in the house in Blacksburg, but Trevor, he's not going to like Carson Beck to Elijah Lofton.
Yeah, Miami is in full style points mode right now. They're ranked 13th. They've got to get to 10 to impress the committee enough.
Off to a 7-3 lead. Roy over on ESPN.
Yeah, gentlemen, we start to think about strength of record and how you look in terms of the eye test down the stretch in Miami. Those 2 close losses. Ironically, to both of these teams, that starts to mount up at this late hour in the mind of the selection committee. Canes still with a chance. Mustangs get it back in the first pass from Kevin Jennings. Incomplete, looking for Romello Brinson. And Holloway able to help defend that pass, the point of contact.
That style points conversation is important because Miami has 2 losses. A team you feel like they'd be battling with is Notre Dame. Another 2-loss team, which Miami beat, but Miami is ranked below. And so style points matter. For most teams, SMU, they just need to win.
Yeah, that conversation going back to Tuesday and the next release of the CFB rankings certainly was interesting. You have a new committee chairman stepping in. And the thought process is if Miami and Notre Dame are in that same tier, then head-to-head becomes a big factor. How about the back shoulder toss to Brinson in a gain of 22?
Different field zones, different field areas will be attacked this game, so expect the ball to be sprayed all over.
Empty backfield for Kevin Jennings. And QB run, Louisville able to sniff it out. That's going to be a massive loss. All the way back at the 42 by Jerry Lawson.
I love the patience by Kevin Jennings. He has a fake, rolls out to the pocket, and throws that back shoulder. The defender's eyes are away from the quarterback, so the QB knows he can throw it wherever he wants as long as him and the receiver lock.
Lawson, a big TFL there. It'll be 2nd down and 14. I can't wait to get your opinion on Miami Notre Dame. If that whole collision course continues and we get down to the 12th hour of this thing, and how is the committee going to dissect those resumes? And Miami has the head-to-head competition victory. Kevin Jennings, another victory for SMU's quarterback, races for a 1st down into Louisville territory, a gain of 16.
So there's a blitz by the safety, number 12, really linebacker Caleb Perry, He blitzes, and he's unblocked, but Kevin Jennings does a little bit of dip, inside, outside, and knows that he's going to replace his legs where the blitz just came from.
Cards will stack the line of scrimmage. They're thinking run. They sniffed it out, and they thought right. As Chris Johnson Jr. is corralled by T.J. Capers, and he's going to lose a couple of yards. Here comes a flag. That was after the play was over. Jerry Magallanes, his ACC officiating crew, back to work. I mean, Sam, if you won the head-to-head, don't you have to get the edge?
Well, here's the issue. You said you wait for our opinion. Here's my opinion. Miami's 2 losses are to 2 teams that aren't ranked, whereas Notre Dame's 2 are to 2 of the top 13 teams in the nation. And so that's where it starts to get a little bit dicey. You could argue that Notre Dame played a tougher schedule. They played A&M, and it's the number 3 team. And
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, offense, number 59, his first of the game, 15-yard penalty. The down count, second down.
Well, that's a massive infraction on P.J. Williams, the Texas A&M transfer and starter at right tackle. Get back to that Notre Dame-Miami conversation in a minute. SMU going the wrong way after Kevin Jennings picked up that first down easily, and that infraction coming number 59 after the play ended.
Yeah, and a little bit of acting on the side of number 50, Clef Lubin, but you don't want to get in the guy's face. The referees are going to see the second person. So whatever Lubin did first, the referees saw Williams second have to have more self-control.
Second down in Fort Worth. Here's Jennings again. Sidearms it. And McFall stays in bounds across the 45. Derek McFall, another one of these versatile running backs slash receivers, just a gain of 3.
And one thing that does slow down that tempo that SMU does want to go is when they go backwards. You start getting into 2nd and 20 and 2nd and 30 and 3rd and 15, 3rd and 20. They can't go as fast because they're not going to be able to get the type of yardage that they need. So that's why Louisville has the advantage when SMU doesn't do things the right way.
T.J. Harden back on the field at running back for 3rd and 24. And a simple screen, trying to make something out of nothing. And along the right edge goes Jameer Knight. Well, Knight coming off a career performance 2 weeks ago at Boston College. Can only get 10 yards there on 3rd down and long. And SMU looks like it'll punt the football away.
And Roy, as this game remains close, you start thinking that Louisville will gain confidence. They're playing with a lot of backups, so many guys who are injured. But all of a sudden, Louisville says, okay, we're fine. We can be in this game. And so the longer it stays close, the worse it is for SMU.
And there is Colin Lacey, one of the most explosive return men in college football this year. And a big play waiting to happen. The South Alabama transfer. Guards nearly got to the punter, McSparron. And Lacey will make the fair catch at the 11 after a punt of 33. Don't forget, coming up next on ABC, the all-new ESPN app, Arch Manning, number 17 Texas hosts Arkansas on the 40 acres. Then at primetime tonight, 20th ranked Tennessee takes on the Florida Gators in the Swamp. ABC, the place to be as we get deeper into week number 13.
Talk about a team that needs style points. Texas needs some style points and some help. They want to get back into that college football playoff conversation. And win versus Arkansas, then that matchup versus A&M is going to be huge for them to even have a chance.
I mean, that would be the massive opportunity for style points against the Aggies, who currently are undefeated. What a job Colin Klein has done with A&M quarterback Marcel Reed, now considered one of the favorites in the Heisman Trophy balloting. Still a lot of football left. Final 2 weeks of the regular season. Deuce Adams was walloped after a gain of 4.
I like the decision, though, by Adams. He didn't want to put the ball at risk. He could have thrown pretty much a corner route that may have been intercepted. So instead, he tucks the ball, gets positive yards, and returns the ball back to his offense as opposed to the other team.
It was Lang and Barker colliding with the quarterback, making his first career start. Redshirt freshman out of Austin, Texas, back in the Lone Star State. And the run to Duke Watson with the lane, and then he's tripped up. It'll be 3rd down to begin our second quarter. Barker chopped him down to the turf. An entertaining beginning here in the Metroplex. 7-3 our score.
This is the end of the first quarter.
Louisville trailing 7-3 here in Dallas. Jeff Brom joins me now. Coach, we're seeing your quarterback Deuce Adams in his first start. What do you need to see from him and your offense the rest of the way?
Well, he's got to play with great poise, and he's got to execute. I think just having some balance as far as running the ball and passing the ball, not having negative plays, and not turning the ball over. Right now, decent.
Appreciate the time.
Thank you.
All right, so third down coming up for Louisville to begin our second quarter. 7-3 SMU with the advantage. Mustangs have to win today and again next week at Cal to have a chance to reach the ACC championship game. Back-to-back years. Movement at the line. They're going to blow this one dead, and Louisville's going to lose 5.
False start, offense, number 70. 5-yard penalty, remains third down.
That's Trevante Sylvester, the transfer from Houston, a fifth-year senior at left tackle.
The reason why you heard Jeff Brom say in this interview with Taylor that they don't want to have negative plays is because now it's third and obvious. 3rd and 9 is usually obvious pass. So the pass rush, guys like Isaiah Smith, number 1 for SMU, they're going to be hunting the quarterback. The only difference in this game is that draws and maybe quick screens could be more possible because Jeff Brom doesn't want to put his quarterback in harm's way.
Good start for Adams, 4 or 5 passing, 20 yards rushing in the first 15 minutes. Needs 9 yards here. Safety valve delivery, and into the flats goes Colin Lacey and stopped short of the first down of the 19. So a 3-and-out force by SMU, and of course aided by that false start penalty on Sylvester moments ago to begin our second quarter.
Talk about not beating yourself, especially when you have your top 2 running backs out for Louisville, your starting quarterback out. The last thing you want to do is to go backwards.
David Chapeau in to punt from his own 5 with Ymir Knight for SMU standing inside his own 40. And a wobbler. Took a Cardinal bounce at the 41. Let's take a look at the Taco Bell Live Más student section. Only one student section can claim the title of Live Más student section of the year. We'll take home the trophy this year. Good crowd here, Gerald J. Ford stated. They got it on campus maybe fashionably late with this early morning start. Sam, it's a lot to ask folks to get here at 10:30 a.m. local time and get ready for a big game of this magnitude. But the attendance has been on the rise for SMU, and we even talked to Ahmad Moses yesterday, and we asked him what was the difference in that Miami game. He said the crowd. Everybody stayed for 4 quarters. We loved every minute of it. Ponies get it back, sidearm delivery, and another strike from Kevin Jennings. And racing ahead is Chris Johnson into plus territory.
So you're going to see show up on tape with Kevin Jennings. Sidearm, different types of arm slots.
You know, we asked him yesterday, KJ, did you play baseball? Because the way you toss it reminds us of a strong arm shortstop. He goes, I wish that I did. He's actually a really good basketball player. He showed us some of the highlight reel dunks he's put together. Very athletic.
He said, I didn't play baseball, but I did play backyard football. And when you hear him say that, it starts to make sense. Remember being a little kid and just playing backyard football, making people miss? That's what you see on film from Kevin Jennings, and it's in real life. We heard him say it. Now we're seeing it. Did you play backyard football, Ron?
I did.
My God.
And I was a quarterback, but I couldn't throw it the way that Kevin Jennings could.
I was a receiver, and I was like 250, so yeah.
That's a lot to deal with. But one of the questions we asked him, too, where did you learn that off-platform toss? And he said, it's not Patrick Mahomes. It's actually Aaron Rodgers. There's T.J. Harden churning the legs and picks up another first down. We mentioned Jennings as a basketball player. Give me a little 360 on the dunk you very much, Sam Acho.
And this was his freshman year. And this is in the gym, right? Just put up some shorts on and boom, yum. Hey, I love it.
Love to see it if you're a fan of the Mustangs. And now a false start penalty.
False start, offense, number 2. 5-yard penalty, first down.
We were with Ahmad Moses as well during that interview, and Ahmad Moses said, hey, but you didn't show them what I did to you when we played one-on-one. Ahmad didn't send us his film, though.
No, we never got that video. Ahmad did have the play of the year with the interception of Carson Beck in overtime just a couple of weeks back, but he failed to send us the goods. What could have been a rejection of his starting quarterback at the rack in basketball. First down and 15 after the penalty. And now a direct snap to TJ Harden. And straight ahead will get what he can. Back to the original line of scrimmage. There was a sense in talking to SMU this week, Casey Woods, I think, said it best. We're teetering on the edge of becoming hot. And I think it reminds him, and this staff reminds all of them about what it felt like last year when they ran the table in the ACC's regular season, and kind of inching back towards that right now. You got to win today and win next week at Cal.
And Louisville wants to put all that in the freezer, all that becoming hot, making the playoffs. Their defense specifically is one of the better defenses in the ACC. So they're trying to show people, hey, all these close losses, we're going to find ways to win.
And fake it to Harden. Kevin Jennings wants to run it. And through a small crease to the 30. Angelo Hutchinson with a tackle. Be third down from there.
And the mindset of that Louisville defense has to increase as well, knowing that they're playing with the redshirt freshman at quarterback. They have to be able to do their part to slow down the running game from SMU and force 1 or 2 turnovers so they can win on that side of the ball as well.
I think you and I both believe, too, this has the potential to be a higher scoring game. If you force a turnover, that's great. But if you force a field goal opportunity, maybe at times that'll feel like a win for you.
It's a 4-point swing. If you keep teams when they're in the red zone to field goals rather than touchdowns, it keeps you in the game no matter which side of the ball you're on.
Sidearm delivery again. Across the 20 into the red zone and a first down. Outstanding block for Jordan Hudson as Jameer Knight snuck in there to pave the path.
You saw 7 or 8 guys at the line of scrimmage, so it's a one-on-one, and Jordan Hudson says, I don't care who's in my way, I'm getting that first down.
Back to tempo, and there's Harden. A tap dance behind the line. And a 2-yard pickup on first down.
This offense attacks you in different ways, Roy. They have that speed to their game. They have the quick screens to the outside to the game, but they also have the size to their game. TJ Harden's 6'2", 220. So it's not like you could just play basketball on turf. They want to out-physical you as well.
Yeah, that's part of the master plan for Rhett Lashley, play caller, his OC, Casey Woods. How they've constructed this roster. And on this side of the football, and their goal is to get 7 or 8 different players a touch. His first 15 minutes, trying to spread the wealth. TJ Harden. A spin move brought down at the line to gain. That is enough to make it first down and goal.
The size is one thing, but the offensive line makes a hole that's big enough that anybody can run through. The defense separates, and Harden does the rest.
Harden, the senior, transfer from UCLA, against the grain here. And a short pickup on first and goal down to the 7. The tackle by Stanquan Clark. Great to see him back healthy for the Cardinals defense.
He's been a huge addition to this defense. Came back last week a little bit rusty, Stanquan Clark was, but they're excited about having him back.
Yeah, Clark, you see number 6, banged up this year. Back on the field a week ago in that 1-point home loss to Clemson. Mustangs will add an offensive lineman and Stone Eby. Andrew Chambly on the field. Jennings floats it. Passes. Caught for the touchdown. Jordan Hudson.
He's the alpha of this group. Jordan Hudson in a one-on-one situation, you're probably not going to win if you're the opponent. Watch him hang up in the air like Kobe Bryant, RIP. Somebody's grabbing his face mask, getting rid of his mouthpiece, and still making that grab.
There were 2 different mouthpieces that fell out on that touchdown grab. That is significant concentration by Jordan Hudson. Now that he's healthy, has meant everything to this offense for the Mustangs. Keltner makes it 14-3 SMU.
Jordan Hudson is the leader of this group. He's got the size, the physicality, the concentration to come down with the ball.
We on a whole nother level. Bigger than ever we
ESPN College Football presented by Tums, 14-3 on that latest touchdown by Jordan Hudson. Watch this. 2 mouthpieces come flying out. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott. My question, for Matt Berry, college football final, is that $1? Is that $1? I don't know if it is or not, but I watched this segment and I want to know.
That's not a helmet sticker.
That's a helmet
Give him a
sticker.
helmet sticker for the catch with both mouthpieces falling off.
Thank you. That's all I needed to know. Sometimes that segment goes over my head. Matt Berry will be talking about it later, I assume. Cardinals will get the football back. Let's go back to the studio. Say hello again to Kevin Connors.
All right, Roy, Sam, it's time for the AT&T countdown to the season.
14-3 there, 14-3 here. The home team with the advantage. And Sam, now we get Deuce Adams back on the field, who's been solid to start, but obviously Cards going to have to score touchdowns soon.
And they have to stop going backwards.
And now Brady Allen on the field. And we were told by Jeff Brom and Brian Brom this week, if Miller Moss couldn't go, we would see Brady Allen, the Purdue transfer, brings a different dimension to this Cardinals passing attack. 6'6", 220 pounds, redshirt junior, does know the offense based off of his time in West Lafayette.
But not a lot of film. Again, we talked with Scott Simons, the defensive coordinator. He said neither of these guys have played a lot. So just when the defense for SMU was getting adjusted, the offense plays a mind game with them and puts a different quarterback to start from ground zero.
So it's Allen and Braxton Jennings, the freshman running back in the backfield. And Allen, who Jeff Brom reminded us, does have some decent wheels despite the 6'6" frame, and what that would indicate. Get what he can ahead to the 39. It'll be third down.
But he's a different type of quarterback than Deuce Adams. Brady Allen is more of a drop back type of quarterback. So don't expect too many more runs like that, because that's not really in his arsenal.
This felt like this was an orchestrated plan. No matter what Deuce Adams did to start, Allen would get an opportunity. He needs 6 yards here. Three-man pressure time. Allen dumps it across, and nothing doing. Antonio Meeks is going to lose a yard, and Brandon Booker right on top of that play.
I love the confidence that this builds for a defense. You put in one quarterback, you shut him down. You put in a different quarterback, you shut him down. Defense has great eyes. They're playing zone coverage, but it almost doesn't matter who's in front of you, and that builds so much more resolve as a defense. It says you can play against anybody who lines up against you.
Do you like going to Allen right there with what we've seen from Adams in the first quarter?
I do like it because the psychology of it. It makes Scott Simons, the defensive coordinator, say, I'm not going to be settled just yet. So I actually do like the decision.
Amir Knight deep for the Mustangs. At the 30, bobbled it for a moment in traffic. And the fair catch made after a punt. Just 32. Mustangs get it back, an 11-point lead after this. Under 7 minutes to go in our first half. SMU a 14-3 lead against Louisville. You take a look at the ACC standings, and right now the Mustangs in that log jam at the top with just one conference loss. Louisville has had its moments, but we proudly present now the ACC Wheel of Destiny. You think back to Coastal Chaos. Who wants it, Sam? You got all these teams at the top. Miami still feels like that they have a chance, but it's Virginia, Georgia Tech, and SMU still with these opportunities.
Georgia Tech, if they win, they're in, but SMU, they have to win out and get a little bit of help. I've always wanted to be on Wheel of Fortune. This is my opportunity.
And you get on Wheel of Fortune, you don't ask for the letter Q or something weird like that.
You just go R-S-T.
Right.
Yes.
If you're going to go with the vowel, E.
A, not E.
Oh, really?
I like E.
Acha. Makes sense. Mustangs get it back. And movement before the snap.
Full start offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, remains first down.
That was on Chambly. It was on the field moments ago in that jumbo set. Third false start penalty against the Mustangs. SMU basically, you mentioned it, they have to run the table. Win today, win at Cal next week. And then really the only other thing that's needed is either Virginia or Georgia Tech losing one of their remaining conference games. And if that happens, Mustangs are in.
This is true. And there are other scenarios, ways for them to get in, but that's likely the easiest path.
Yeah, we're not going to speak about those today. They're that complicated. Jennings wide open. And on the move is Jordan Hudson for a first down. A laser beam across the middle.
There's no better word. Laser beam is correct, but watch the different part of the field they attack. Now it's in the middle of the field, the deep middle.
T.J. Harden across the 45. And a gain of 2, the tackle by Capers. I mean, Jennings, the way that he throws it sometimes, regardless of the platform, the slot, it is poetry in motion when you watch the ball zip out of there like that.
And it's not just the way he throws it, but it's also the way he extends plays. He uses his legs not as a runner. He uses his legs to throw the football down the field, which makes it that much more difficult for a defensive back to plaster or stay tight to their coverage.
Now 7 straight completions for number 7, Kevin Jennings. Redshirt junior out of Oak Cliff, Texas. Bring that program back, state championship level. And Taylor's got more on Kevin Jennings. Taylor?
Yeah, Sam, it's a great point. He's not always running to escape. He's running to throw. And a lot of these wide receivers told me how much of a challenge it's been to them to get better. They said, you see Kevin escape, you think, do I need to throw a block for him? No, you got to stay ready. You got to have those hands prepared. He's a guy that's continuing to elevate his targets with that element of his game.
I love the point you made, Taylor. And even when we talked to the coaching staff, they said, hey, when he scrambles, don't watch his eyes, watch his arm, because that ball could go to any of you on the field.
7 different receivers have already touched the football for the Mustangs. Over the middle, Ymir Knight, and that's enough to move the chains again. Yeah, Casey Woods indicated sometimes it feels like Kevin Jennings throws the football between his legs to complete some of these first down passes.
It feels that way, and we might see that coming up, but the point you made was a great one. 7 different receivers. We talked with Casey Woods. He said that his goal was for the first 15 plays for 7 different guys to touch the ball, and that's what we're seeing. When that happens as a defense, you cannot settle. Everyone's going to be attacked.
And this Louisville defense back on its heels in need of a big play. Trying to help a new starting quarterback. Playing on the road for the first time in that capacity. Jennings! There's the seam to Hibner. Brought down to the 10.
Watch the ball placement of this pass. So Matthew Hibner, the transfer from Michigan, tight end, is going to receive this perfectly placed near back shoulder type of ball from Kevin Jennings. So it's not just the velocity, it's also the accuracy, the way that Jennings distributes the ball to so many different people.
After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct, defense, number 25. Half the distance to the goal penalty, added to the end of the play, automatic first down. That's
First
number
down and
25,
goal.
Louisville's first unsportsmanlike conduct foul of the game.
And the infraction against Holloway, who's had an active first half. First and goal for the Mustangs after a gain of 33 to Matt Hibner on senior day.
And here's a frustrating part for a defense, Roy. First it was Jordan Hudson with that catch. Then it's Ymir Knight. Then it's Matt Hibner. So it's like you can't double anybody. So if you have one weak point, they're going to attack it.
And Jennings 14 of 15 to start, 149 yards, the touchdown, also a score on the ground. TJ Harden a stutter step. Tried to find some mojo, couldn't do it, stopped at the 5. And Hutchinson was there. Louisville can somehow force a field goal attempt. That would feel like an enormous win. SMU with all momentum on its side for Rhett Lashley.
And I think the way you do force that is you have to understand that that ball may be going to the outside again, whether it's number 2, Jordan Hudson, who made that tremendous catch last time around, or number 3, Brinson. The ball may be going to the outside, so the corners have to be able to hold up in coverage.
That's Hudson in motion. Jennings wants to throw it. The pump fake. The hesitation. Against the grain. Shovel pass. Why not? Harden into the end zone. SMU extends its lead.
I said everybody has to be ready. All the receivers need to be ready. The tight ends have to be ready. What they didn't say is the running backs have to be ready as well. There's something special about the way that Kevin Jennings plays the game of football. It feels like that backyard style, but he brings everybody together.
It's Sandlot style with precision accuracy. Kevin Jennings making more magic happen.
They said he throws sidearm, maybe behind the back, sometimes between the legs, or just a nice little flip to your running back for the score.
Seven and 3 SMU. Its eyes on the postseason prize in the ACC, leading Louisville 21-3. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis back in the Metroplex, and there is Kevin Jennings, the magic man himself, a 15 for 16 start, and That last touchdown pass coming via the shovel pass to TJ Harden.
8 different receivers have made catches. So if you're a receiver on this team, or running back, or tight end, you better be ready for Kevin Jennings to spread the ball around.
He told us yesterday, the faster we are, the better we are. They have been lightning quick to start here on Senior Day. He's got 3 total touchdowns, just 1 incompletion. And now Deuce Adams, Taylor Davis, is back on the field here in Dallas.
Sure is, and he's got quite a few family members and friends on deck, including his parents. Mike Adams, like you guys mentioned earlier, an All-American wide receiver at Texas, played in the league before beginning a coaching career. I went and asked him, what'd you tell your son before this start? He said, just be himself. You don't have to play a different type of game just because you're at a new level. Mom Rachel admitted to me she's quite nervous right now, guys, but has faith in her son and how equipped he is for this.
Yeah, understandably so. Adams wants to heave one deep, has a man, and how about layering that toss to Dakari Collins? And a gain of 28, Sam.
Just be you. He did this in high school, going to state championships, not just a runner, but also a passer, right over the defender. That's the only spot that ball could have gone. Outstanding by Adams.
And Collins, 3 stops in the ACC, first at Clemson, then NC State. That is their longest play of this first half. 28-yard pickup by a resounding 15 yards. Let's see if that loosens up SMU's defense. Watson, the running back. Adams wants to throw it again, goes deep again. And the pass is caught by Chris Bell. Penalty markers down deep in the backfield. Chris Bell, one of the top wideouts in the land, shows you why.
This is exactly why. One-on-one, Chris Bell is going to win. Point blank, period. High points the football, accepts the contact.
Foul, illegal hands to the face, defense, number 93. Half the distance to the goal, penalty added to the end of the play, automatic first down.
So Bell has the Cardinals back in business. Sam, remember we had the Louisville-Pittsburgh game some 6 weeks ago. Louisville fell down by 17 points to start, then came roaring back. It's a different quarterback, different set of circumstances. Point is, they've got it in the arsenal to find a way to come back and compete.
The quarterback is starting to get loose as well. Deuce Adams is starting to get a lot more comfortable after seeing that ball completed downfield.
And Ahmad Moses still on the turf. The senior has 5 picks this season. Interception of Carson Beck in overtime here in this same venue some 2 weeks ago. And a little bit of assistance to get off the playing surface. Jaden Miller-Jones now on the field in his absence. Miller-Jones is just a redshirt sophomore. Started his career at Colorado, but Deuce Adams now back-to-back completions of 25 yards or more.
Talk about loosening up the defense, Roy, but the confidence that plays like that build for not just a quarterback but for an offense, it allows the play callers to be able to call whatever they want, because now your quarterback is playing with poise.
Wouldn't you love to run them here? Empty backfield, quarterback draw.
I want to see him complete another ball. That builds even more confidence and stresses out the defense more.
5 wide, technically still first down and 10. And the snap as the officials were approaching the line of scrimmage.
There is no snap on the play. The officials were not ready for the play.
That could have been disastrous. But clearly both lines of scrimmage not ready.
This is a critical situation for Louisville, because if they score, they do get the ball back at halftime. People talk about the middle 8, those last 4 minutes of the first half, first 4 minutes of the second. Could be a huge momentum shift for a team that needs it.
Let's see what Jeff Brom wants to dial up on first down, just outside the 10. Quarterback run. And Adams gets down after a short gain. And Sam, that should get us to the 2-minute timeout. Now the Cardinals on the move in the red zone, and they'll have it 2nd and 9 after this.
This is the 2-minute timeout.
We cannot wait. Back here At University Park, 21-3, second down and 9. The Cardinals in position here at the end of the half. Into the flats, and that pass batted down by Cam Robertson. So Robertson now healthy and a big-time factor in that front four for the Ponies.
They've been hoping to get him back. This is what we meant when we said that this defense is getting healthier. This team is playing their best ball. Cam Robertson has been injured. Edge players got the size and the awareness to knock that ball down.
They had a neck injury, just reached the big Paul up there in the 6'4" frame, smacked it away. Watson motions out, empty backfield for the freshman Deuce Adams. On third down. Penalty marker is out. Adams is down. And he lost a couple of yards there. Let's check the infraction with 2 flags on the field.
Illegal formation, offense, more than 4 players in the backfield. A penalties decline, 4th down.
Now, penalties have been an issue for the Cardinals in losses this season. That continues to be a problem so far today.
One of the tackles was likely lined up too far behind the line of scrimmage, and that's what caused that penalty.
Cooper Ranvier, who connected.
Timeout, SMU, their first timeout of the half, 32nd timeout.
And a timeout gives us a moment to remind you tomorrow, Sunday NFL Countdown is back live from Kansas City with that showdown in the AFC between the Colts and Chiefs, plus inside the 48 hours with LA that saved Baker Mayfield's career. And Randy's best catches of the weekend. You got Moss, Sunday NFL Countdown, 10 a.m. Eastern on ESPN.
Can't wait to hear about that Rams Baker Mayfield story.
That sounded interesting as I was reading it.
Yeah, his life has changed and his play has been outstanding. I got a chance to connect with him a couple times, but that story, I can't wait to watch.
Ranvier hopes that he can split the uprights here as he did from 36 yards out earlier today. Now 18 of 21 this season. Louisville special teams faltered down the stretch in that setback a week ago on a Friday night. Just inside that left hash from 29, and Ranvier able to send it through. Up for 20 years, Allstate has celebrated every field goal and extra point made at participating universities by donating to the university's athletic scholarship fund, supporting all student athletes. Thank you to Allstate. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, welcome to our broadcast position, and welcome to the Kevin Jennings Showcase, which has been as advertised thus far. 1 incompletion, over 8 people he's thrown the ball to, and he's playing at a different level. I would say he's playing Acho mind. The ability to run the ball, the ability to use his precentral gyrus, his frontal lobe, RPOs, fakes, doing it by himself. Kevin Jennings is 6 feet. He's not the tallest guy, about 200, not the biggest guy. But man, does he bring people together, whether it's Jordan Hudson, TJ Harden, his running back, all over the field, and also in your hearts. Improvising, extending plays, and throwing darts. That has been his specialty. Both teams with 2 timeouts remaining in a 2-score game right before halftime. Sandwich between University Park and Highland Park. Moments away from downtown Dallas, and Kevin Jennings. Well, the numbers awfully impressive. Highlight reel does a lot of that justice. But he's only going to get better, by the way. He will be back here next year for his final campaign. We talked with him yesterday, Roy, and it was the way that people looked at him. Ahmad Moses, one of the captains, leaders of this team, as Jennings was talking, Ahmad just looked at him with this sense of admiration. Not necessarily awe, but a sense of respect. And that's what I love to see if I'm one of these guys' teammates, that people respect him. See what happens here on first down and which team wants to utilize a timeout. Bumped out of bounds is Derek McFall by Holloway. And the clock will stop for a moment. 93 seconds to go. Both teams with 2 timeouts and a gain of 5 on first. If I'm SMU, I'm turning up the tempo. I'm still trying to get as many points as possible. If I'm Louisville,
I don't need to bring pressure just yet to give up a big play. All you need is a 3 and out, and you'll get the ball back and then be able to double up again. So that's the chess match that's being played. SMU wants to score, but Louisville needs to get the ball back.
That forward progress was not stopped inbounds, so the clock did pause until the next snap. Fake the end around, and a jump cut and a stutter step. Yield a 3rd down and 1.
Louisville could call timeout here. Looks like they're not going to, but if they had more confidence in their defense, they'd call timeout. They'd force a 3 and out and get the ball back.
Yeah, tough call when you think about it after the 4-yard gain on 2nd and 5.
What SMU's going to do is just run down as much time as they can, see if they can get the 1st down. Then if they do, they'll speed it up. So Louisville's playing it safe.
Harden, the running back, you got to feel like inside zone is coming. It is, and straight ahead, Harden straight into a pile. And he did pick up enough to move the chains. He ran into a wall of Louisville defenders and still found a way to poke his nose through.
Now you see that tempo.
And you got to think the Mustangs are going to start to be aggressive. Jennings. Another strike. Jordan Hudson. And another 1st down.
Tayon Holloway with the missed tackle, but Jennings just has peace in the pocket, patience in the pocket. Hudson does the rest. Now would be a time to take a shot down the field if you're SMU. You haven't attacked it too often. You tried one early in the game. Now would be a perfect opportunity to attack these defensive backs like you have all game long.
Yeah, Cardinals showing a little bit of pressure here. 5-man front, Jennings off the back foot and incomplete. As receiver broke in, that was Jalen Cooper. And Jennings threw it outside, Taylor.
You guys were talking about his growth, and obviously we've gotten the opportunity to cover him the past couple of years. And when I spoke with him to start this season, he told me the biggest jump for him from last year is no longer being afraid of making mistakes. Sam, I would imagine for young players trying to make a statement, that could plague you a little bit mentality-wise. But he said this year he's just playing free, and I think you see that on display.
Yeah, the patience in the pocket. This time he's gobbled up and sent backwards by A.J. Green. Well, the bolt of lightning the Cardinals defense needed here at the end of the half. They'll find it with number 17.
A.J. Green just wins off the edge, point blank period. So all this talk about Kevin Jennings, the excitement, the plays, the one in completion, the defense can shut that down with a win. That's what you do as an individual on defense. You just win your one-on-one. Good get off, good hands, you just run around the loop. The last thing you'd want to do if you're A.J. Green is try to get that ball out, force that turnover, and give your team the ball.
So a spark for the Cardinals at the end of the half. Louisville gets the football to begin the 3rd quarter and a chance to make it a 1-score game with a quality possession. 21-6 our score at halftime. Let's get you back to the studio. Kevin Connors, Trevor Maddich. Welcome back to ESPN College Football, presented by Tums on a Sunsplash Saturday afternoon. The start of our 2nd half here at Gerald J. Ford Stadium. 21-6 our score. Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis joins us on the sidelines in just one moment. If you're an SMU fan, if a little bit of Kevin Jennings is good, more is better after what we saw the first 2 quarters.
He does so much, and he has so much fun. Kevin Jennings has an elite level of arm talent, and you see it throughout the different arm angles. He can run the ball, but he doesn't run the ball to run the ball. He runs the ball in order to throw it down the field, whether it's a pump fake to get it to a receiver, whether it's a little pitch play to one of his running backs. Kevin Jennings makes you defend every blade of grass.
Kevin Jennings, supremely accurate. The missile, the laser, the dart, the improvisation, if I can get that out. You know what I'm saying. Kevin Jennings makes things happen when you feel like the play's going to break down. Improvisation. There we are.
Language of origin?
Yes. Unsure as we take a look at the first half stats brought to you by Tums. Kevin Jennings, Jordan Hudson leading the charge. Those 6 targets for Mr. Hudson, resulting in a touchdown in which a pair of mouthpieces flew out against the defensive back for the Cardinals, who do get the football to begin this 3rd quarter. And Louisville, freshman quarterback making his first career start. We saw him all but 1 series in those first 2 quarters. They put together a scoring drive here, a chance to make it a one-score game. And Colin Lacey now will flank Adams in the backfield before motioning out. He'll get it on the swing. Full extension trying to widen that field. And it gets back to the 25. That's it. Taylor Davis, what do you have?
Well, Roy, I spoke with both coaches at the half. Jeff Brom was really pleased with the demeanor and composure of Deuce Adams. He specified that last drive of the first half, said, I really felt like some confidence was developed. I need to see that in this first possession here to start the second half. Now, defensively, he said this has not been one of our best days. Kevin Jennings looks far too comfortable, too efficient. We've got to try and get after him a bit more in the backfield, Roy.
And we saw that from A.J. Green at the end of the first half as Colin Lacey remains down on the turf. As you heard Taylor talking, Lacey, Sam, if he was unable to go the rest of this game already without the services of Isaac Brown and Kewan Brown, that would be an enormous loss, not to mention no Miller Moss today, your starting quarterback in every game this year prior to today. Chambers and Brandon Booker collided on Lacey almost simultaneously. And the officials,
The previous play is under further review.
take a look at that last sequence. Give Lacey a moment.
So they're reviewing it now for targeting, or maybe if the ball came out, some sort of fumble.
Lacey is on his feet. That's the good news. He does need some assistance in walking very slowly. And Sam, they could be looking at multiple things on that swing pass as Lacey came down, but the fumble front and center.
And if it was a fumble, there would need to be a clear and obvious recovery
After
by
review,
SMU.
the ruling on the field is upheld. Second down.
After all that, second down. Lacey on the swing pass, banged up on the play. You got a redshirt freshman quarterback making his first career start without his top two running backs. And now the most explosive return man on the field. And probably the number 2 receiver to Chris Bell, Colin Lacey. Not on the field, at least for this play, and perhaps a lot longer. Deep handoff, Duke Watson plants, cuts, and explodes. Across the 30, that'll make it third down and 2.
I love that play call because it's a tendency breaker. 2nd and 11, most times it's pass. You want to try to get half of it back. But now you keep the defense on their toes. They don't know now that it's 3rd and 2. Is it going to be run? Is it going to be pass? Usually 3rd and 3 or more is pass, but 2, you can do anything.
Cards just 1 of 5 today on 3rd down. SMU with 4 straight stops on the money down in this game. Watson, the running back, to the edge, and a first down for Louisville. Across the 40. Well, that's one way to do it. It's just stay on the ground, a little ground and pound to start the 3rd quarter.
That's the right way to do it. Louisville is battling so many injuries. You're down your top 2 backs, but Duke Watson is no slouch. He's able to get through the line of scrimmage, use a stiff arm to get that first down. And so if you're Louisville, you don't have to abandon the running game. Trust Duke Watson and have that run set up the pass.
Now, Jeff Brom told us 2 days ago, it is Duke Watson's week. Sophomore running back out of Forsyth, Georgia. With no Isaac Brown, no Kewan Brown. And we've seen a little bit of Braxton Jennings today. And now with Colin Lacey banged up. Adams, safety valve. And a good decision to Duke Watson. So Adams looking down the field, wanted to throw it deep. Nobody was available, and he said sends it down to Duke Watson and gets what he can.
You can see the maturity, better yet the confidence growing in Deuce Adams. He's making the right decision. There was nothing open. The middle of the field was closed, so the deep shot play wasn't available. He got 6-7 yards on that play.
2nd down and 3 after a gain of 7. Right at the line to gain on the next delivery. Antonio Meeks will pick up the 1st down in SMU territory.
The question now, if you're Jeff Brom, is how much do you push it? You have big plays if you're Jeff Brom. You have trick plays if you're Jeff Brom. But how mature is this redshirt sophomore? Is this one game of experience enough to start taking even deeper shots downfield?
Sam, he's 10 of 12 passing to start. And Jennings rumbles ahead to the 45. Hiron Chambers brought him down. Good start to this second half for this Louisville offense.
And it's not just dinking and dunking. He had 2 25-plus yard passes down the field. That stretches out the defense and stresses out the defense.
Every game this year for Louisville in those 3 setbacks, all 3 have been decided at just 1 possession, 2 coming in overtime. And in many circumstances, in a very heartbreaking fashion, they played a ton of close games. And the tight end to the 40, Risky, able to get what he can and be about a half-yard shy, moving the chains.
3 losses by a combined 7 points. That's where the confidence starts to dissipate.
Here's Jennings. Tried the A-gap, met with a lot of resistance. Only needed a couple of inches. Leading him there was Brandon Booker and Terry Webb.
Terry Webb, the 6'3", 313-pound, 5th-year senior, had an outstanding swim move on the inside to create that stop.
4th down and 1. Cardinals want to go for it. 4 of 9 this year on 4th down. It's 44%. Loaded box for the Mustangs defense. Jet sweep to Bell. He'll pick up the 1st down, and here comes a penalty marker. Flag back at the 43.
Holding, offense number 70. 10-yard penalty, remains 4th down.
Well, an absolute killer, Sam, and that has been a consistent theme in those close setbacks. Penalties.
As an offense, as a team, you know the one thing you can't be is penalized. But on a play like that, the play's going all the way to the opposite side. No need to hold as an offense.
An absolute drive killer. And one look at the penalty on Knight.
You see Ahmad Moses, number 3, start to come inside, but you have to trust that Chris Bell is going to be able to outrun Ahmad Moses. So I understand that the instinct is to have your arm out there, but it hurts your team by following that instinct.
And it's Knight back deep to receive this Louisville punt. And to the 15. No fair catch. Punt of 38, a return of 3. Mustangs have it after this. Now back in Dallas, and a look at Dealey Plaza, the site of remembrance for the assassination of President John F. Kennedy. Hard to believe, 62 years ago today.
I visited that place when I was a kid. I grew up in the Dallas area, and just the history that was made, and that was my first time really coming towards this kind of part of town. It was eye-opening.
Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis. Back in University Park, Mustangs will get the football back, and on the swing, Romello Brinson gains 12.
A busted assignment on the outside by Rodney Johnson. The corner, he has to stay outside and force everything back inside.
And the Mustangs get the stop after the holding penalty on what would have been a 4th down conversion. And Jennings sails it out of bounds under duress. It'll be 2nd and 10. SMU has to win this game today and defeat Cal next week. Have a chance to reach the ACC championship game in back-to-back seasons. It's the Mustangs' first 2 years in the Atlantic Coast Conference. What an accomplishment it would be for that man, Rhett Lashley, just weeks after he signed a contract extension. And the percentages starting to favor SMU to do exactly that. If a score like this stands. TJ Hart, a little shake and bake to the 35.
We were talking to some of the players earlier this week, and they were saying how those first couple games, some of the losses to TCU, losses to Baylor, said it felt kind of like a preseason, specifically with the defense. They were trying to understand the new personnel on defense, a lot of new pieces, and the play callers trying to understand. Scott Simons is trying to understand, okay, what's the personality of this defense? Now we're seeing them play so much more confident on both sides of the ball.
So a pair of 7-3 programs. You saw the numbers. Win today in the ACC championship game appearance percentage goes to 67%. Cardinals were in contention themselves until the loss last week at home. 20-19 on a Friday night as Hibner picks up the first down.
There's those arm angles that we've heard about with Kevin Jennings again. Different arm slots, so the ball's coming out, and he just plays with such a level of joy. That's the thing that stands out for me.
Now, he has a spirit about him when you talk to his teammates and his coaches that I think resonates very well on the football field. And by the way, SMU needing to win those final two, and also needs either Virginia or Georgia Tech to lose one of its remaining conference games to get into the ACC championship. Jennings floats it, passes corralled, and somehow he finds another way. How about the touch on the move to Ymir Knight?
Well, it started with him avoiding the pass rush. Could have been sacked on the outside. He avoids the pass rush. He steps up, and it's almost like a floater, right? Steph Curry in the paint. That's what you see so much with this offense.
It's basketball on turf. Floater with a touch. And the missile above the head of Hibner.
So that's one that people say we'd love to have that back. I hate that phrase, but I'm going to use it here. Like, Hibner was wide open. Kevin Jennings did an outstanding job of looking off the safety. So he looked one way, and the safety's going that way. But unfortunately for Jennings, his feet weren't set, and so he misses on that throw. That would have been a likely touchdown if he hits it, right? Look one way, and all of a sudden Hibner's wide open. Could have been an easy touchdown.
Did he see the umpire right in the line of sight and try to sail it over his head, maybe?
Maybe, or maybe his feet just weren't set in order to get that ball completed.
Second down, Cardinals showing pressure. Jennings retreats. There's the screen to Harden. And Harden make the first defender miss and the second. That could have been a TFL instead. He'll pick up a couple of yards as TJ Capers brought him down. It'll be 3rd and long.
And a critical 3rd down for both teams, specifically for Louisville. If Louisville wants to get back in this game, they need a stop. We saw that sack at the end of the first half that got SMU off of the field. Louisville needs more pressure from the guys on the inside, whether it's 90, Renee Conger, maybe some of the outside linebackers, Clev Lubin. They need to create havoc for Kevin Jennings.
Yes, and we haven't called Lubin's name, the Coastal Carolina transfer, yet today. And he has been a harbinger of chaos this season at times. Jennings on 3rd down, across the middle and incomplete. Hudson had his sight line bothered with the linebacker right in front of him. That'll be 4th and long.
Well, there was an outside pass rusher first. It's number 17, A.J. Green, with the long arm. A beautiful pass rush move. Oh, that gives me so much joy. That has the pressure of Kevin Jennings. I'm a pass rusher, dude, so I love moves like that. That's what caused that play to be ineffective. The pass rush finally stepped up.
That is the first 3rd down incompletion thrown by Jennings today. And Bobby Golden back deep to receive this punt from McSparran into the sunshine. He was interfered with. There's the penalty flag, and the Cards will get enhanced field position as a result. The kick catch interference.
Yeah, that was a
kick catch interference. Kicking team number 26. 15-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Automatic 1st down. Timeout.
Cardinals will get it back, trailing 21-6 here in Dallas with 7:07 to go in our 3rd quarter. Easy call for this veteran crew. You're watching the ACC on ESPN. Back here Gerald J. Ford Stadium, Sam Acho, Roy Philpott, Taylor Davis, and the chance to reach the title game in Charlotte. SMU with a golden opportunity to win today, go from 46% up to 67%. You need UVA or Georgia Tech to lose one of its final 2 conference games to have a shot.
They're winning and they're hoping. If Georgia Tech loses, that gives them a chance. Virginia's on a bye week right now, so Virginia has chances to get in even being on this bye week. So for SMU, they have to win and then hope.
Cardinals trailing by 15. Duke Watson. You mentioned Virginia. What a story it would be if the Cavaliers reach the college football playoff 3 years after experiencing the worst possible tragedy that you can experience in collegiate athletics. 3 players shot by a former teammate. They had to cancel the rest of that season, and then to think 3 years later, Tony Elliott leading that comeback. What a story that would be.
People talk about justice. I believe it was just today, if not yesterday, the sentence was finally put to get justice for those players.
And the Cavaliers with Chandler Morris, head coach Tony Elliott on the verge, just Virginia Tech standing in the way of UVA next week in the rivalry game of reaching the ACC championship. In the standings, and Pittsburgh's going to be a factor in this thing down the stretch. Miami still gives the league an opportunity, Sam, to get 2 teams in potentially as an at-large candidate.
But Miami needs to win and keep winning. It's a 10-point game in their game versus Virginia Tech right now, so they have to win as well in order to get into the college football playoff.
On 3rd and 2, Deuce Adams, incomplete. The slant wasn't open to Hurry, and Trayshawn Hurry off the fingertips. He kind of stumbled as the ball was tipped by Deuce Harmon as well.
More people are going to be asked and called upon for bigger roles with some of the injuries to Colin Lacey, who just went out, who's their star slot receiver, to the running back. So Trayshawn Hurry is going to have to step up. Miller Moss is injured as well, so you're seeing Deuce Adams step up. This is what people say when they say next man up.
David Chapeau, the punter, from the 27, sends it to Knight and over his head. Mustangs start inside their own 10. 15-point advantage after a punt of 54 by number 93, and we are back after this. $15-point lead for SMU back in Dallas as we take a look at this week's college football playoff rankings. Brought to you by Verbo, and some games already underway. Alabama, Eastern Illinois just getting started. And what else are you interested in looking at the top 12 right now?
That Oklahoma-Missouri halftime, but it's a 1-score game. Missouri's playing without their starting quarterback, Bo Pribula. Oklahoma, they need to win to stay in.
And the Sooners with John Mateer after the thumb surgery, not the same quarterback, going back to the middle of the season. A different team perhaps if he starts to cook. R.J. Maryland rather, upended at the line of scrimmage. Coming up Tuesday night, 7 Eastern, ESPN, the all-new ESPN app. We'll have the exclusive reveal of the next college football playoff top 25 rankings. Reese and the guys will have everything from top to bottom, coaches' reactions, and a live interview with the new committee chairman, Hunter Yurachek, the Arkansas AD, and they'll also project the 12-team field.
Reese and the guys, and Heather Dinich. Heather Dinich, that's the plug, man. I feel like she knows so much about this committee, which it's been different this year, the committee, some of their decisions.
Always scrutinize the month of November, and then what's to come on that final selection day. An exclusive reveal. A lot of folks interested in who will be in, who could be left out. SMU now facing a 3rd down.
Defensively, Louisville has done so much better since that last drive of the first half.
With tempo, Jennings wide open, 1st down. Jordan Hudson escapes out of bounds near the 30.
I love that decision by SMU to turn the tempo up. Why has Louisville done better? Because they're taking their time, and they're able to get in the right play. Well, SMU usually on 3rd down, they take their time. They didn't. They sped it up, and that's how Hudson was so wide open.
Officials timeout for defensive player injury.
And the Cards battling Injury bug in a multitude of ways today, pregame and now in the contest itself. And Renee Conga down on one knee. Now Conga, the Rutgers transfer, fifth-year senior. So no Miller Moss, no Isaac Brown, no Kewan Brown. And then Colin Lacey left the game to start this second half after catching a swing pass. All that has led to the first career start for Deuce Adams. And Sam, you mentioned the Louisville defense has kind of locked in with Ron English. We're back to the end of the first half. We've yet to have any points scored in this third quarter by either side. And now Kevin Jennings back to work. Seam incomplete. R.J. Maryland spinning around. And the pass was errant behind him.
And that's the mentality. If you're a defense who's losing like Louisville is at halftime, Ron English is saying, guys, no more points. No more points. We cannot give up another point. Cleve Lubin, number 50, one of their defensive leaders, is saying no more points. So they're doing their job, but Louisville offensively needs to do their job to start getting points on the board. Kevin Jennings has been just a little bit off in this second half. Louisville needs to capitalize and maximize the opportunity.
And we mentioned that comeback on the road at Pittsburgh here at the end of September, early October. They were down 17. It was a turnover that sparked that comeback via special teams. Here, it's a TFL. And on the quick completion, Amir Knight's brought down by Corey Gordon. He snipped that one out early, Sam.
That's the mentality. This defense for Louisville has played this half like they have all season. They've been dominant on the defensive side of the ball in the last 10 or so minutes, but it needs to continue if they want to get back in this game.
And it's a defense that is yet to give up more than 30 points in a single game this season. They've got some playmakers.
Timeout, Louisville, their first timeout of the half. 30-second timeout.
Well, A.J. Green fell down like he was injured for a moment, then the timeout was called. And don't forget our Week 12 Monday Night Football matchup. Christian McCaffrey, the 49ers, host Bryce Young and the Panthers, 8 Eastern on ESPN, ESPN Deportes, and the all-new ESPN app with Peyton and Eli, of course, on ESPN2. Our coverage kicks off with NFL Live at 3 Eastern. Scott Van Pelt, the Monday Night Countdown crew, at 6 Eastern. And suddenly the red-hot Carolina Panthers, led by former #1 overall pick Bryce Young.
Bryce Young is playing his best ball right now. We're seeing it unfold. It took a little bit longer than people expected with the #1 overall pick, but now you're seeing that confidence start to show on full display.
I'll give you another juicy storyline in that game. Christian McCaffrey facing his old team for the first time.
That's right. He got traded from the Panthers not too long. Well, I guess it was a while ago, 3-4 years ago now. I wonder if there's a little bit of vengeance he wants to try to inflict.
I think he's been pretty happy out west, but perhaps. All right, so third down at 12, a big moment in this third quarter. And the Cardinals put the clamps down defensively. And Kevin Jennings has been held in check to start the second half. Movement up front, free play for Jennings. He'll lob it up and out of bounds, looking for Jordan Hudson. Conga crossed the line of scrimmage. That was a free play. The O-line stayed frozen as Conga leaped across.
Offside defense, 5-yard penalty, replay third down.
Such better position now for SMU getting that 5 yards back. Of course, you can't have that penalty after a timeout. You have to know earmuffs, I don't go off sides. But now 3rd and 7, so many more different plays open up for SMU rather than 3rd and 12 because it's not as far of a down in distance, so pass rush may not be as effective.
And penalties have been an issue for both teams this year, and again so far today. A.J. Green back on the field. It's 3rd down and 7. Jennings wide open. Maryland first down. All the way to midfield.
So that hard count had Louisville show their hand on defense. And so what SMU decided to do was say, okay, I know what kind of coverage you're in, so I know that my tight end R.J. Maryland's going to be wide open in the middle of the field. You see everything spread out because that hard count exposed Louisville defensively. SMU decided to check, Louisville didn't, and that's the cat and mouse game that's being played in this matchup.
Now, Maryland and also Matt Hibner, two of these dynamic tight ends. Maryland coming back from a devastating injury. And you talk to coaches around the ACC, and they feel like that he's starting to remind a lot of folks of the player he used to be. And certainly a career in the NFL coming, as TJ Harden will pick up 9 yards on first down.
Maryland has battled injury this season, and now he's getting healthy again, and you're seeing the effect.
Back to the well again with TJ Harden. Snuck through the line of scrimmage, laid the lumber, and picks up the first down.
That's that 6'2", 220 on number 4, Jabari Mack. And they've been picking on Jabari Mack on defense all game long, and it's a big-time size mismatch for the running back of SMU versus Louisville.
Officials timeout. Offensive player number 27 will leave the game for one play. His helmet came off.
That's the last thing TJ Harden wanted to do there. He was starting to get lathered up. That means Chris Johnson steps on.
It's been a lot of run plays for SMU. This would be a nice time to take a shot to the end zone while the defense is leaning forward to try and stop the run game.
I think you and I would be a dynamic coaching staff play calling situation, because I totally agree that would be the moment to try to do it. We're always on the same page with that, as TJ Quinn stops the ground gainer after a 3-yard pickup from Chris Johnson. And R.J. Maryland go back to
officials timeout for defensive player
SMU's
injury.
last year in the American, was first team all conference before transitioning to the ACC. And on senior day, Russell Maryland, lead player in his own right in the NFL for a number of years, a 3-time Super Bowl champion, right here with the Dallas Cowboys.
And he's like, man, forget about me, focus on my son. That's legacy. People talk a lot about legacy. That's what it looks like. Okay, Russell won his Super Bowls, but his son has his own story.
And Micah Carter, sophomore out of Louisville, playing for the hometown team. He remains down. Louisville trailing 21-6 in what has been a scoreless third quarter. Now, Taylor, always emotional on senior day, right? For all of these Mustang seniors.
All 30 that were recognized today, and Rhett Lashley spoke so candidly with us about the impact that this particular group has had, not just on the program, but on him. These guys really have been key in Rhett Lashley's development of this program. 10 of the 30 seniors have been here for at least 3 years. That's almost unheard of in college football these days. They've been to 4 bowls, 2 conference championships, 1 college football playoff, potentially more. And like Ahmad Moses told us, it was important to them to change the expectation. No longer is a 7-win season acceptable. It's conference championship and playoff conversations in Dallas now.
Yeah, and that's right where they are right now in November. Rhett Lashley told us this is finishing season. It's what they did a year ago in reaching the ACC championship game. Jennings back the other way and incomplete. And that pass was thrown before the cut was made by McFall as it goes out of bounds.
Jennings has been a little bit off this series. You've seen a couple passes either overthrown or thrown behind. Louisville has to take advantage of this and turn one of those errant throws to an interception.
He's been behind a couple of targets. His tight end, and that time the running back, Derek McFall. 11th play of the drive coming up. Jennings has been nearly perfect on third down. And it's Harden back in the backfield. Jennings gonna be sandwiched quickly. Clev Lubin. First time we've called his name today, Sam. And it comes in a big moment.
Unbelievable job by Clev Lubin, just being relentless. There's a pulling guard. Lubin doesn't care. He goes around and just runs past the blocker to get that play. Outstanding to force now what could be a more difficult field goal because that field position.
And Sam Keltner, his longest this year at 51. This attempt coming from 49. And a line with that left upright towards the middle portion of the field. And Keltner, plenty of distance, bangs it home. Flags come out after the kick was ruled good. Now that kick, if it stands, will make it a 3-score game. It was 4th down and 11.
Field goal is good after the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct, kicking team, number 91, his first of the game. That 15-yard penalty will be enforced on the kickoff.
Well, the field goal stands, 24-6 our new scores. We take a look at our player spotlight. Brought to you by Tecovas and Jordan Hudson, who started his career at TCU. Just an incredible competitor here in Dallas throughout his career. His numbers this season certainly back that up. And again today, getting the job done.
Talking to one of the members of the coaching staff, and they said Jordan Hudson is the alpha of the wide receiver room, and it shows up on tape. 300-yard games over the last 4. He started off the season injured, got hurt, might have been on the first or second play of the season. But now that he's been healthy, you're seeing the growth. And I talked to some other people in the staff. They said NFL scouts are seeing it as well. The scouts are excited about Jordan Hudson and his future in the NFL.
And think about what Rhett Lashley told us. He is the alpha in that wide receiving room. And the numbers starting to mount up in a more dominating way in favor of the Mustangs. Saw the total yardage differential. Sportsmanlike conduct penalty means Louisville will get decent field position until Golden was tripped up by a blade of grass at the 30. Now don't forget our Week 13 ACC Network football lineup continues this afternoon. A couple of great rivalry matchups at Duke, Carolina at 3:30 over on ACC Network. And then Cal at Stanford later on at 7:30. The 128th big game between those West Coast rivals. Both games also on the all-new ESPN app.
What is Andrew Luck in Stanford? What are they going to do at head coach for next year?
You know, that's a great question. We were out there for the Florida State game. Screen pass to Bell is quickly corralled. And I asked him, could Frank Wright potentially be back next year? And he said no. And certainly they were already doing their due diligence. But that's one that's been open since March when Wright was named the interim head coach, knowing that a more formalized change was coming. So you tell me.
It's not going to be James Franklin, I can tell you that much.
No, it's not. Second down and 11 after Bell lost a yard. Deuce Adams, deep sauce, incomplete. And Chris Hughes was open. Adams would probably love to have that pass back, had a little bit too much zip on it.
Or Chris Hughes may love to have that route back. When you're a backup quarterback, you don't have as much chemistry. Chris Hughes angles and bends his route just a little bit too much. If you stay vertical, that's a completion and a touchdown. But the fact that Deuce Adams and Hughes, both those guys are backup players, haven't had a lot of reps, that's what caused that play to be incomplete.
That's a big factor in a moment like that. Cardinals 2 of 8 on 3rd down so far. Adams by a little bit of time. And get out of bounds on the final play of our 3rd quarter. 24-6. 15 minutes to go here at University Park.
We're back here in Dallas. SMU leading 24-6. Rhett Lashley joins me now. Coach, you told me at the half the importance of the balance of your offense. What's important in the final quarter?
Same thing. We got to hold on the football. We run the ball really well. We missed a couple that might have put it away, but we got the field goal. We got to stop doing dumb stuff. They always call the penalty on the second guy. They push us. We push back. They call it on us. It's stupid, but our defense right now is bailing us out. But playing great on defense. We're balancing offense. We got to finish strides in the second half.
Thanks, Coach.
Thanks.
And Taylor, that defense has been lights out for the Mustangs so far. Ymir Knight on 4th down with a fair catch after a punt of 38. The Mustangs will get it back there. You saw the numbers there for Rhett Lashley as the head coach at SMU in the month of November, Sam. 13-1. Like, he's not losing games in the most important month of the football calendar year. And again, he's got his team in position maybe to do something special.
SMU had been a team that had struggled in November, that struggled when it mattered the most. And some of those young players, guys like Ahmad Moses, they were like, man, we want that to change. And now we're seeing the change. 13-1 in conference play in November. There's no better time to be good because this is when it matters most. Early losses haven't hurt them as much because they still have a chance now.
Did it surprise you at all that he signed the extension as quickly as he did when there were openings back in his home state of Arkansas, back at a school like Auburn where he helped lead Auburn to incredible success? And you knew that his name was going to be linked to those openings, and then it wasn't because he signed the extension here in Dallas.
It didn't surprise me because SMU is a school that does have the financial resources to be able to entice someone to stay. So not only are you winning on the field, you have a hotbed of talent in the DFW Metroplex, but also you're one of the top paid coaches in college football. So those three together sound like a reason to stay.
It's a different program now in the ACC as opposed to the American. That was Knight that picked up 8 yards. And remember, too, his son is the current starting quarterback. They advanced to the second round of the playoffs last night here in great state of Texas. So there's something about the family staying happy and close to home and where they've kind of grown up these last 4 years.
And the type of player that you can get now that SMU's in the ACC. Some of the players wanted to compete at that Power 4 level, and now you're telling guys, hey, you compete against the Miamis, and you can beat them. You can compete against in the Penn States in the college football playoff. You can compete at that level. So that's the benefit of a coach who's also been at that level, but now a team that's in a power conference.
A top 10 paid coach nationally after that contract extension was announced. Going back to last month. On 3rd down and 2. Mustangs content to chew some clock here. Legs are churning. And a first down close to midfield. Oh, TJ Harden gives you that physical component in the backfield for SMU.
We talked to Casey Woods, the offensive coordinator of SMU. He said, man, we only going to have like 3 running plays. We're going to show them in different types of sets, but really 3 plays, and that's what we're seeing. We're seeing inside zone. That last play was a counter, and now we're also seeing SMU take their time rather than go fast. They want to run as much clock off as possible in order to secure the victory.
And you're seeing the huddle, or the sugar huddle, right there near the line of scrimmage. And Jennings this time wants to throw it. He does so. Floats it off the back foot, and another strike to the 25. Jordan Hudson. Pinpoint accuracy way up into the sky for Kevin Jennings.
Mama, there goes that man. It starts with Jennings, but then to Hudson. He's fading away. The quarterback is Kevin Jennings, and Hudson runs right under it. Outstanding accuracy by the QB and trust between QB and receiver.
And if this was a team that reached the playoff for the 2nd straight year, I think Kevin Jennings and Rhett Lashley and this entire program learned a lot about themselves in that loss on the road in Happy Valley, where Jennings turned it over too many times early. And that was a major difference as the Nittany Lions ran away from it. You got to find a way to get back there, of course, first. TJ Harden is going to lose a couple of yards on 1st down, but that was, here we are. We advance as an at-large team out of the ACC into the college football playoff, the new 12-team field for the first time. And yeah, there were some lessons learned along the way.
They've learned from the experience, and what stood out to me the most was we sat down with some of the players, some of the leaders, some of the captains yesterday. We said, man, what did you learn from last year that you're going to take into this year? And they didn't talk about the blowout loss to Penn State. They really talked about the week before in the ACC championship game where they lost that one. That hurt them more. And so I think they know now what it takes to compete in the playoff, but now they got to get there.
On 2nd and 14, Jennings to the 20. That's going to be a first down and a little bit more. Romello Brinson. I mean, it really is pick your poison between Hudson, Brinson. We talked about Hibner, R.J. Maryland, and Ymir Knight. They can all beat you.
And here, they can beat you. So as a DB, you start to backpedal a little bit too much, and then you're in your backpedal, so then you miss the tackle. They're thinking about yards after contact. If the big play isn't there down the field, they'll beat you underneath, make you miss, and find the end zone.
And that's a gain of 22 on 2nd and 14. Now 1st and goal.
It's been the difference in this game, Roy. SMU is 3 for 3 in the red zone, scoring touchdowns. Louisville's 0 for 2.
TJ Harden into a sea of humanity and backed up at the 6. Harden, the transfer from UCLA. Brenson originally started his collegiate career at Miami. Hudson at TCU. It's been part of the formula for Rhett Lashley, bringing in guys out of the portal, and sometimes players that played in high school in Texas. They go somewhere else, and then they want to come back home.
And you can tell guys, hey, man, you're 15 minutes away from where you grew up. All your family, all your friends can come show up with you. It's a great recruiting pitch.
Jennings again to the edge, on the move, and complete. Outstanding defense. That was thwarted at the last minute by Tayon Holloway against Jordan Hudson.
Love that play by Holloway. Hudson ran an outstanding route, but Holloway had the patience to understand what route was coming and try to stop that touchdown from being received.
So an 18-point lead, a field goal. If the Cardinals can force an attempt here, would still have it in a 3-score game. Obviously needing 3 touchdowns. This drive already spanning more than 5 minutes off the clock. Now it's Jennings. A little bit of touch on this one. Back corner. Caught for the touchdown, Ymir Knight. Talk about threading the needle.
Ymir Knight ain't the biggest dude. He's 5'8", 186. But there's that level of trust again from Kevin Jennings. Perfect pass, chef's kiss. Gets that left foot down. Outstanding.
Now Knight had the career day 2 weeks ago at Boston College.
The ruling of a touchdown is under further review.
Had 7 grabs for 162 yards and a touchdown. A little toe tap in that back corner on the brilliant effort by Kevin Jennings. And we've seen nothing on that replay to indicate that that call should be overturned.
So many different weapons, Roy, and Ymir Knight is one of them. He transferred in, and watch the focus. Catches a ball, so we ask possession. That left toe looks like it's in bounds. And as long as that toe gets in bounds, that's a touchdown.
And if that stands, Jennings now touchdown passes to 3 different receivers. Knight, Harden, and Hudson. Close-up look there. It's got to be indisputable video evidence. You don't see the football shift at all. All you need is 1 foot down in college. Looks like a touchdown. Jennings released the football. It was so high in the air.
After further review, the ruling on the field is upheld. Touchdown.
You wondered, did that have any kind of chance whatsoever? And then the bottom fell out, and there is Ymir Knight inbounds. And Rhett Lashley with a fist pump confirming the call. And the new verbiage, of course, that the call was upheld. So the extra point coming from Sam Keltner, who connected from 49 yards away on a field goal. Only points of the half before that touchdown strike. And Sam, what is starting to look like a statement win for the Mustangs, now leading 31-6, 9:38 to go.
ESPN College Football is presented by Tums Fast Heartburn Relief, so you can love food back.
SMU was putting on a show. 6'7", 41. Pick your poison. They're doing whatever it takes. Chef's kiss by Kevin Jennings, making it look easy from start to finish.
41 is the new 6'7" for those that are unaware. Well done by you, Sam Acho.
It's sad because my 3-year-old says, Daddy, 6'7", 6'7". I'm like, dude, you're 3. Come on.
How do they know?
How do they know? He has older siblings.
How do we know? Under 10 to play. Louisville Braxton Jennings will run it out of the end zone. And Jennings with a burst to the 25. Cardinals have the football when we come back here to Highland Park, University Park.
SMU with a 31-6 lead here in Dallas on Senior Day. It is time for our Cracker Barrel More Than a Home Team. We point you to College Football Hall of Famer and esteemed SMU alum, Mr. Jerry Levias, who became the first African-American football player to earn an athletic scholarship in the Southwest Conference in the 1960s. Every year, an SMU player is chosen to don the number 23 jersey in honor of Mr. Levias, and for the third consecutive year, it is none other than Isaiah Wacobia being recognized today on his senior day, a Dallas native. The two have actually forged a special bond over the years. Isaiah told me the two connected back in 2023. Mr. Levias's point of emphasis was always work hard. Your circumstances won't always be perfect, but you can always control your effort.
Well, an amazing story, and Isaiah Wacobia, the MVP of the 2023 American Championship game for SMU in that road win at Tulane. And Wacobia was injured in the first quarter, the last game at Boston College. Back today on Senior Day. You know that it is very important for him not only to close out his collegiate career in strong fashion, but to be healthy and to be a factor for SMU down the stretch. And we anticipate he will be, Sam. And off the field, obviously, wearing the number 23. Incredible for 3 consecutive years. And Wacobia, as many of these seniors were, all smiles and emotions running high with his head coach there for Senior Day.
He chose to stay home, turned down offers from Texas, from Oregon, from USC to come to SMU and rebuild the program.
Third down, Deuce Adams lassoed down in the sack way back at the 25. Mayazona.
Love that play by Mayazono. People talk about triggering, not being afraid. As soon as Mayazono sees Deuce Adams start to escape the pocket, he goes straight downhill and makes a tackle. No doubt, no hesitation. He makes it look easy.
Brandon Mayazono, the junior from Frisco, forcing Louisville to punt. And it's the 5th time today the SMU defense has forced the Cardinals to a 3-and-out. And a fair catch by Ymir Knight. 8:12 to go as we step aside. It is all SMU. SMU leading Louisville as we reached almost the halfway point of our 4th quarter. Senior Day for the Mustangs, 31-6. And Kevin Jennings approaching 300 yards passing. He saved his best for last in that win, the upset against number 10 Miami just 2 weeks ago. Sammy Crew for 365 yards as R.J. Maryland is upended by Holloway on the jet sweep.
It's not just him, Roy. It's this entire SMU team. They're playing their best football in November.
And the pop pass gets Kevin Jennings over 300 yards passing as his afternoon comes to a close. And we expect to see Ty Hawkins and Charlie Pfizer now the quarterback with Hawkins. And true number 2 on the sidelines. And a timeout called.
Timeout, SMU, their first timeout of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
So on 2nd and 4, Mustangs will talk things over. If you're just tuning in, the top of the ACC standings, a logjam in terms of teams with just one setback in league play. SMU, Pitt, UVA, and Georgia Tech all still in contention, as is Miami and Duke at 4-2. But for SMU, a win today, one more against Cal, and they will have a chance to reach Charlotte, pending if Georgia Tech or Virginia lose one more in league play, and Georgia Tech faces Pittsburgh tonight.
And that Miami game is huge because Miami can stay in it. Duke, they could stay in it as well. They're a 5-5 team, but only 2 conference losses. Syracuse can spoil Notre Dame's chances.
Handoff. Shotty Clayton Johnson. A Tulane transfer gets a touch. And a shimmy yields a first down.
So we're seeing backup quarterback, backup running back. There's a backup offensive line. So everyone on this SMU team is getting a chance to get reps.
You remember Clayton Johnson going back to his days in the American at Tulane and put together a couple of incredible seasons as a backup there, and the junior from Little Rock now assuming the controls of Rhett Lashley's offense. And Clayton Johnson again. We did ask Rhett Lashley and Casey Woods, hey, what's the conversation like in game when you guys are debating what play to call? And Lashley has the final say and of course orchestrates the majority of the play calls. Casey Woods had some input.
Officials timeout for a defensive player injury.
And A.J. Green down for the Cardinals near midfield. He's been hobbling around at times in this second half after recording that big sack at the end of the first. And with 6:23 to go, 31-6, SMU leading Louisville. Cardinals have never defeated SMU in their first game against each other way back in 1983, so that trend appears to continue today. But SMU, you know, Casey Woods mentioned it to us yesterday right here in this facility. They're teetering on the edge of getting hot. Nothing that's happened today has cooled off what the Mustangs are doing.
This feels like a team that many people wouldn't want to face going into the playoff if they do make it to the playoff. Their defense has given up less than 200 yards so far. Their offense with Kevin Jennings, when they get hot, they're very hard to stop. They do need some help, but this SMU team, they're finally healthy, and also they're finally whole, meaning they didn't know who they were earlier in the season from a defensive perspective, and now they have an identity offensively and defensively, which makes them dangerous going into this last stretch.
And we actually said it to Scott Simons, the defensive coordinator, yesterday. Well, he was battling a little bit of a cold, and I said, so Coach, first off, you sound different, but secondly, you sound different because there's more confidence now with that unit. They have been locked in and shut the opposition down. You go back these last 6 weeks, and even in the loss to Wake Forest, they only gave up 13 points.
And he told us that he had to understand who his team was going to be. There's so many new starters on this defense, and so last year you might have an aggressive bunch. This year with some of the new starters, they might be better in coverage, better in zone versus man. So that's what Scott Simons, who you see on your screen, had to figure out early. That loss to Baylor was devastating for him earlier in the season. Loss to TCU, that hurt them as well. But now he knows who they are, and he's calling the defense according to his personnel.
A.J. Green off the playing surface. He's been trying to grit this one out in the second half. That SMU defense has only allowed 2 first downs and 0 points in the final 2 quarters, with 6 minutes and change to go. And Clayton Johnson again weaves his way through traffic on the way, and the Mustangs into the end zone again. Second touchdown of the season. The Tulane transfer. Icing on the cake.
There's nothing better as a team when you get some of the guys who don't usually get reps, yet they're still playing at their best. People are yelling Charlie Fizer's name in the stands. They're chanting his name, and then Shotty Clayton Johnson finds the crease, finds the hole, has the speed to get into the end zone.
37-6 on the longest play of this football game. Your third team running back with speed to burn on senior day. So SMU at 5-1, looking to go to 6-1 after this win this afternoon. Inching their way closer, perhaps to another appearance in Charlotte, back-to-back seasons.
and I don't want to be Debbie Downer because now's not the time, but how sad or frustrating would it be if you're an SMU fan to play this way this time of the season and still not make it? Mind you, it is your fault. That loss to Wake, that 1-point loss to Wake hurts, but man, it feels like South Carolina last season. They were playing their best ball at the end of the year and still didn't make it.
That loss to Wake Forest came on a banger of a field goal from 50 yards out in Winston-Salem, where the defense kept you in it. The offense just couldn't get out of its own way. And a 13-12 setback. But right now, that's kind of what you're looking at. But of course, all you need is Georgia Tech to lose tonight to Pittsburgh, or you need Virginia to lose to Virginia Tech next weekend in that annual rivalry grudge match. Braxton Jennings. Big hole and a bigger collision. The football caromed out of there right at the very end of that run. And the Cardinals maintain possession. So the clean scenario for the Mustangs: win today, win next week at Cal, and then either have Georgia Tech or Virginia stumble somewhere. And in this circumstance, with Georgia Tech losing potentially tonight to Pitt, then that could change the fortunes and put the Mustangs in Charlotte.
The easy part about this is that they control part of their destiny. They finish this game, they're going to watch Georgia Tech, hope Georgia Tech loses, and then that gives them that much more excitement and vigor going into next week, knowing if they win, they have even a better chance to make an ACC championship, which could lead them to a playoff.
Second time today we've seen Brady Allen at quarterback. Sean Boykins Jr. versus his field. Big yardage for the Cardinals. And into SMU territory. Down at the 47. Oh, the chances of win today, and obviously SMU's ability to reach Charlotte is enhanced. 46% to 67%. And not a foregone conclusion next week. Cal is a team that has given a lot of teams problems this year with its very talented freshman quarterback. And that certainly will be a game to watch on rivalry weekend next weekend out in Berkeley, Taylor.
Well, with all the chaos that's going on around this league, I had to ask the players that we spoke with yesterday, how are you handling this? Are you paying attention to all the numbers that we're throwing at you? They said, well, it's all irrelevant if we don't win out. They felt like the first order of business was going to be this game against Louisville. But I got to tell you guys, this has been one of the most confident and sound sidelines that I have been on this season. There's a real assuredness of who they are at this point. You both have talked about peaking in November, playing their best in November, and finding their identity, both sides of the ball. A really well-oiled machine mentally, physically. I've been really impressed by the entire operation down here and the confidence they have to show for it.
Yeah, this staff told us before the TCU game, the team that they were going to be by the end of the year was going to be a lot different than the team that we saw that week, way back in week 4. And that was a game that the Mustangs lost just across the way over in Fort Worth. Dump off pass to Chris Hughes, and that'll be enough for a Louisville first down.
That confidence, Taylor, translates. I love that point that you made about all the sidelines you've been on, yet this is the most confident. That translates on the field, but it also translates off the field for the players to trust one another even more.
Across the middle and intercepted. Club takeaway is back. Tyron Boley Jr. with the interception, the 27th turnover force by this SMU defense in 2025.
A defense that leads the nation in taking the ball away. These aren't by accident. They're not turnovers, they're takeaways. Diligent practice and focus to stress yourself to find ways to get the football off of the other team. Taylor, you talked about some of that excitement off the field. They talk about the club takeaway, but even more so, this defense even said they meet on their own. On Thursdays, they'll get together on their own and watch film without the coaches to build that trust to get back into the club and have fun themselves.
Did you get the invitation to club takeaway? Because I didn't.
You gotta force a turnover to get there, man. So put me on the field, coach. I want to get a plus on you.
They're popping bottles down here, guys. It's a party. 17th
pick of the season. You can understand why, as the Mustangs get it back, content trying to milk as much clock as possible. Now, this has been a tough road setback for Louisville, a team that it's previous 3 losses came by a combined 7 points, and SMU simply outmatching Louisville with the injuries on offense and even late in this game defensively.
Yeah, it's frustrating for Louisville because this game was a 1-score game right around halftime, even early in that third quarter, 2-score game. They had a chance. They had their chances. And then now it's slipping away, partly because of the injury to Lacey, but partly because SMU hasn't taken their foot off the gas.
Clayton Johnson back in at running back. Right up the gut on 2nd down. Don't forget, coming up next, ABC, the all-new ESPN app, Arch Manning, number 17, Texas, hosting Arkansas on the 40 acres. And then at 7:30 Eastern, prime time tonight, number 20, Tennessee, taking on the Gators down in the Swamp.
Major implications. I understand both games, but that Texas-Arkansas game, Arkansas's dealing with a bunch of injuries themselves. Tennessee's still trying to see if there's any hope for them.
So that conversation, to me, as we get closer to the exclusive reveal there on December 7th, Notre Dame, Miami, does that become more interwoven late, given what happened way back in week 1? And then also a 3-loss team potentially out of the SEC,
Timeout.
like Texas.
SMU. This is a 30-second timeout.
Is the path realistic for the Longhorns if they finish strong?
It is realistic, but they need style points versus Arkansas, a big-time win. So that'll help them in the committee's eyes. They need a little bit of chaos in front of them, some teams to lose in front of them. Then they need to win against A&M. Right now, A&M is a 3rd-ranked team, and I think they're up like 40-0 against Stanford. So, yeah, 48-0 against Stanford. So they need a couple of things to go in their favor to be that 3-loss team to make the college football playoff.
And, of course, at the very top, Ohio State, the defending champions, upstart Indiana, and Fernando Mendoza, one of the favorites in the Heisman Trophy race. They're certainly going to have something to say, potentially in a Big Ten championship game. And then the undefeated Texas A&M Aggies. Great job Mike Elko has done. He has inked his extension down in College Station. 38-6, 2-minute timeout, Salmon. Club takeaway finds a way on this Saturday, my friend.
Interceptions are no accident, especially when you know you get a chance to get an invite to the club. Dance, have fun, pop bottles, whatever it takes. Club takeaway.
Kevin Connors in studio. We're going to keep it deep in the heart of Texas next over on ABC. Arch averaging better than 300 yards passing over the last 3 games. The 17th-ranked Horns get Arkansas, who's playing better offensively than Utah. 51 points per game in their last 3 games. The Utes and K-State Roy coming up after we go find it.
Yeah, KC and Utah with 2 ample quarterbacks. Bert Ficklin, Devin Dampier, the great job they've done this year for Kyle Whittingham. And that incredibly talented offensive line with 2 first-round prospects anchoring that unit at left and right tackle. Back here in Dallas as SMU electing to punt after the 2-minute timeout. And the Cardinals will get it at the 25. Well, it is the week of Thanksgiving coming up, and that means we think about our menu in the ACC next week, and all gets underway beginning Friday. Clean old-fashioned hate on ABC at 3:30, and then that main course Saturday. SMU and Cal, all of a sudden, Sam, with enormous meaning. When you take a look on down at the desserts, some of those great rivalries within the conference.
That SMU-Cal game means a lot. These Thanksgiving games mean a lot, but I go to the game tonight, that Georgia Tech and Pitt game. That means so much for a lot of people in the ACC, specifically SMU. That outcome means everything.
You're looking at the appetizer before next week's appetizer with that game this evening in primetime. And the Cardinals content run it over the left side. Stop after a short gain of Sean Boykins.
Georgia Tech offensively, Haynes King is trying to make that Heisman push. He might be able to do it with the big game.
Well, it's amazing, too, like Georgia Tech is at its best when King is not 100%. And I think fans certainly understand that. You saw some of the signs at game day in Eugene early this morning, embracing Haynes King and his health when it's not at full go. And a first down run with about a minute to go in this one. We have Georgia Tech, Virginia, SMU. And the other big question out of the ACC will be Miami. And the Canes are going to hold on today in Blacksburg. Should mention, too, James Franklin announced this week as the new head coach for Virginia Tech. That's going to be interesting to watch as soon as next year, how all of that unfolds within the league.
I thought you were going to say, what he announced? He was talking about having a longer runway for airplanes on campus for recruiting. He wants to be able to get the good recruits in.
That's next level. Great recruiter, DMV area. Back to his days at Vanderbilt, then at Penn State, now in the Atlantic Coast Conference. See if the Cardinals want to run one more play. Tough loss on the road, their 4th of the season. They'll get Kentucky, the in-state rival, next week to wrap it up. Louisville, the bowl game to come after that. And one final snap will do it. And SMU, wire to wire, impressive. Kevin Jennings continues his assault on the SMU record books, and his accuracy and athleticism for his head coach, Rhett Lashley, gets it done again this afternoon. Well, the final score 38-6 on Senior Day in Dallas. And we go down to Taylor Davis. TD.
Thank you, Roy. Well, Coach, you moved to 6-1 in the conference on Senior Day. What did this one tell you about the character of your team?
Well, we're playing good football at the right time of the year. I thought we'd play well. 30 seniors, they've done a lot for this place. Really proud of them to go out this way. I think they won 21 home games in the last 4 years. 21-4 is pretty good, and we're still in it.
Your quarterback, Kevin Jennings, put on a very Kevin Jennings display. 303 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. What kind of advantage does he give you?
He's a winner. You saw today it's the healthiest he's been since week 2. So early in the game, he scrambled and got some first downs. Those were big early in the game. One he threw, one he ran. He's a complete player. He's got tons of confidence, and we believe in him.
You just said we're still in it. The ACC continues with a little bit of chaos. You've got an important one next week. But what do you know about your team in November that makes them a championship caliber team?
Well, they just believe that we're going to win. You know, when we believe in finishing here in the whole program. So everything we do is to finish. And that's what November's about in college football. So we did some things earlier in the year that took stuff out of our control. But we got to go beat a really good Cal team next week, and everything else will take care of itself.
All still ahead of you. Congrats. Go enjoy this one.
Thanks.
Taylor, thank you. A big win for SMU, and the family man, Rhett Lashley, celebrating as you would expect. He loves it here in Texas, and that contract extension signed last month certainly proves that and a little bit more.
It's not just him, it's the people he's recruited. Kevin Jennings at quarterback. 3 passing touchdowns, 1 on the ground, using his speed, showing off his agility, athleticism, and then the confidence with some of the throws. And then the receivers, guys like Jordan Hudson, even running back, TJ Harden finding the end zone. There's so much that this team does, and it's all led by Kevin Jennings.
And the updated ACC standings. SMU now at 6-1 in league play, and in a virtual tie at the top with Virginia and Georgia Tech. Mustangs just need one of those 2 teams to lose one time in ACC play in these final 2 weeks. And we will get you out to Rice-Eccles Stadium for the Utes and Kansas State. That game coming up next, and what a scene that will be for a team that also has its eyes on the postseason prize in college football. Now, once again, our final score, SMU 38 and Louisville 6. Big win for the Mustangs at home on Senior Day. For Sam Acho, Taylor Davis, I'm Roy Philpott. We say thank you for watching this presentation of college football on ESPN.